Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and to our online audience, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed your breakout rooms. I hope you managed to get a cup of tea or coffee or whatever. But we are back now for the second half of our afternoon, where we have two more speakers and a panel discussion and a fireside chat and a big announcement. So, without further ado, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Bente Ottersen, who is the founder and CEO of Titles On, and Bente is on a mission to take over the world. So, Bente.
Yeah, it's great to be here. Can you all hear me well? First of all, thanks to David and his team for arranging this and for being impatient and being annoyed. But I think that we have to remember that Emily Pankhurst won. And we will also win. It takes time, but we are on the path. We are here, been here before. Then came COVID and backlash and all of that. That happens. Let's just keep pushing. And I think that making it part of the general narrative that diversity creates wealth. Diversity is not just fairness for women. It's about diversity creates innovation, is creative. And that, again, makes, what should I say, it creates human capital. Yeah, and human capital brings money in, and it gives, makes entrepreneurs succeed. And when entrepreneurs succeed, there is money left over for state to put into public services such as healthcare and education. And that, again, creates new human capital. So if we can make that, and your numbers there, what money is there to be harvested from investing in women and other groups as well, make the whole entrepreneurial community diverse. And I think that this forum here is a great start. It's a great place to do it. And let's push low-hanging fruit, governments, to make it grants, priorities, all of that. So thank you very much for the numbers and for the impatience and for the annoyance that you all have. Me, I think I might be an entrepreneurial type. Well, I'm not supposed to have this picture. There. Yeah. That's my company. And it's not the first. I've had other companies before that I started. Much of my life I spent with martial arts. And that was my first business as well. I opened a school for martial arts and self-defense. And the martial arts part was the art as well as the sport. So we were on the sports circuit for many years. And the self-defense part was mostly about empowering women. And we worked as much with mindset as we did teaching physical skills. When you stop thinking about yourself as a potential victim, as someone that things can be done to, and instead think of yourself as someone who does, it can change a lot. And being strong and feeling strong helps us to take on other challenges. Like David said, I want the world. I want it now. In a good way. Not a Putin way, but, in a good way. And for us all. So that was my first business, and I've had a few since. And my current business is this. And when you watch a movie or video, this text down here, that's us. That's what we do. We create captions and subtitles subtitles that are translated into a language that people can understand if they don't speak the language of the film, captions in the same language for people who are hard of hearing. We do something called audio description, which is for the blind, when we describe what's going on in the movie so they can enjoy it too. And again, you know, it's inclusive, but it's just not to be nice or sweet to people who need to be included because they're not automatically included. It's business as well, because we get a common platform, we share, it's diverse, and we're back to the human capital circle. Just to mention also that accessibility industry, not only for media, but for all, is worth $7 trillion. So it's nice, it's inclusive, and it's business as well. When we translate dialogue into a different language, it's called localization. And when we create something for those who have impairments visually or audio or hearing-wise, it's called accessibility. So my industry has a very snapping name of media, localization, and accessibility services. The key driver for our business is film and video and the growth in that market. When Netflix started its video-on-demand streaming service and went global in 2012, about-ish, the whole industry went through an enormous change, and it grew explosively. And in 2020, it was worth about $235 billion, that market. And that's the market we serve, because when they go global, they need translations. And even when they are, home, the same language thing, they do need to provide captions or audio description for the audience that need that. And that's not just to be nice even, it's legislation and it's regulation now. And for us, that means a lot of business. Our segment of this was about $5 billion in 2020 as well. So it's a good market. Not my business alone, not my company alone, but the industry. Because this industry already had many established companies that did similar things to what we do. Subtitles and dubbing has been around since the end of the silent movie era. But when streaming came, technology enabled the growth and the globalization of it, and it enabled us to enter the market because technology leveled the playing field. We could establish local operations on a global scale with very little investment. And while the big and established companies struggled to adapt to the new market, to the new technology, we came in lean and mean and could start using, we had no extra overhead, we didn't have to reorganize or get rid of people, we were just there. Now, unlike some of you who are also entrepreneurs who maybe have a new invention or a new product and all of that, we didn't have to go through that stage to prove, to prove the product or get, proof of concept. It was already there. We only had to build a business, build a team, the workflows, the technologies, and customer relations. We were established in 2018, very, very end of 2018. And in 2019, we started making revenue already. So we grew nicely in 2019, 2020, and then we had the impact of COVID hit us, and our revenues dropped. And we were fairly small, so it was almost disastrous. And I had to make a decision. First of all, I had to let some team members go, and that is not pleasant. And then I thought, this is risky. It became very, very obvious to me that being small means being vulnerable in this business. So I thought, okay, I'll go. I want to scale up. I want to grow. And I had to sort of think through, how do I want to grow? Do I want to grow sort of medium, big, and have full control and grow organically and all of that, or do I want to go higher? Really, really ambitious growth. I thought, yes, I'll go big. I'll really go big. And so my next step then was to contact professionals to help me create a proper business plan with a proper financial projection. All of that because I believe that we need to use professionals. We need to go where the expertise is. So I don't know if they're here, but I went to Robot Mascot and got very good help in putting my plan for my business and my growth strategy into a format that could communicate well to my target group, which was investors. David also helped here because he made the financial projections. And I had a rather strong valuation report, I think. Stronger than I had expected. Still, when I reached out to investors, they weren't very impressed. So I thought, well, but still, it's a good platform for negotiations once you get to the negotiation table. Yeah. And I have to say that my journey to funding was kind of strange because I was approached by scammers twice. And the first time I was almost taken in because they were so good. They had a clone company. They had cloned another investment company. So they had the right names with slight differences in their email addresses. Now, it became very obvious that, it was a scam because they wanted me to put money into their account before they could give me money. So that's a big, sort of a big telltale. The next one was more severe, really, because they were real. They wanted to invest, but they wanted to take over my company because they saw it as a vehicle for money laundering. Now, my company is global. We have suppliers all over the world. How easy would it be to set up fake little things? Now, they are now with the police, of course. But I had to involve my lawyer. And at the beginning, it looked like a good deal, too. So I involved a good friend of my accountant, who is an investor. And he helped me look through it. And as he helped me look through it, his eyes started to get bigger and bigger. And now it's with him. I mean, he's not the only investor, but he's the one who has the connection to our investors. So it was kind of a strange way to get it. But the thing is that he sat down to look at the business plan properly because he was going to help me against a scammer. And when he read it properly and he spoke to me, he saw the potential and he got excited. It's nothing like it when you're an entrepreneur and you have someone get excited about your stuff. That's a fantastic feeling. But it's dangerous. Like you said, people can be out after other things and it can be flattering and, you're getting warm and you're happy and you go further. You're not as discerning as you should be. Now, to achieve the kind of growth that I had set up in my business plan, I had to change my strategy. I had to go from believing that I could achieve it by organic growth only, and this is through long discussions with the investors, to a combination of organic and inorganic. So that's where we are. I started bootstrapping, building the basis of the company, preparing for a funding round with the help of experts, funding. Now we hire the best we can find in the industry. We're a young company, and although we have all the, as I said, the playing field was leveled by technology, and we have good customer relations too, but as a company we have no track record. And in this industry, you need faith, because our customers are not taking 1 inch, nothing risk. They want to be 100% sure that what you deliver, you can deliver. You can deliver on time and the best quality. And when they don't know you, they are sort of reluctant. But, you know, we hired one in Norway with a good record, because this is the thing too, because many of the bigger companies have been consolidating and consolidating and consolidating, merging, in a way, the same path we're entering, but they're further ahead, and they're shedding talent. And that talent we are picking. And we picked one in Norway who brought in, along with a couple of others, so I have to say that it's not just the potential in the business plan that made the investor interested or enthusiastic. It was also that we went from a downward curve to a steep upward curve in revenues. So the 2 first months of this year, we've already made more than all of the year previous. So that feels good. So when we've hired that team, we will prepare for the next round, and then we will acquire. Now, this here might happen more than once before we're ready to go there. And for me, it will be retire or some other venture, but it will for sure be exit. So I think also, like you said, I think that it's really important that when you go with a venture capitalist, that you are selective. Because once they invest in your company, they're part of your team. You can't get rid of them. So you have to make sure it's a match. And I think that was also good for me, because I saw that our revenues went up before we had any investor. And I thought, we're good. You know, I can go away if I don't like it. I can say no, thank you. So it's a little bit like dating. Don't be desperate. You know? It helps. Although I know that sometimes you just are desperate. You know, it's do or die. But maybe there can be other solutions, because it's very rarely good to accept something out of despair. I have a few. I still have 5 minutes. 3? Okay, I'll talk fast. Advice to myself. First of all, entrepreneurs, educate yourself about every aspect of your business. Not only your product or your service, but the business and the market dynamic and the finance part of it too. Second, build your team and make sure everybody on your team is rowing in the same direction and nobody is drilling a hole in your boat. Be prepared for unpleasant tasks. You might have to fire your best friend. Stress test your idea and your business plan. Explore potential improvements. Stress test it again until you're satisfied that it will hold water. That anyone who tries to shoot it down won't be able to, because you've tried before. It's bulletproof. And always have a contingency plan, because things change. And then a little bit back to you. You talked again about the authority gap. Remember, you can take advice, but you are the decision maker. It's your business. It's your responsibility. And take credit. And credit matters, because when you take credit for what you do instead of letting someone maybe steal it, it tells us what you have achieved. And it's just inspiring. So please do. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, questions right here. Jacob, if you can just pass it. Yeah, there's a mic coming forward. Oh, no, there was one at the back and then a bit forward.
Okay. Thank you. That was amazing and really inspiring. What's really interesting to me is you chose to enter a marketplace that's really crowded, and when you say you have no track record and you're really small, how do you create that USP, and how do you manage to compete on anything other than price, which can be
I'm not sure
dangerous?
I really caught your question. Could you repeat it? I'm not English.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm over here. Can't hear.
She's in the middle at the back.
I'm in the middle of the back here.
There you are.
Okay. I'm interested in how, as a business entering a very crowded marketplace, as you said, how do you create a USP when you're going to clients, when you have no track record and only thing you can really probably offer is price? How do you create your niche within a crowded market, or how have you done that?
So we create our niche by delivering quality, and that's our brand. And then by branding us, and by going to all the events where we know our customers are. So we're going to conferences like the NAB in Las Vegas, the IBC in Amsterdam, another called Languages in the Media in Berlin, and we have memberships in the important organizations. It's not such a huge community, actually. And so we get to know people, and then we hire people who have previous records with them. And that's how it happens. That's how it happened so up until now. But we do think that we need to strengthen that team a lot, to have people who can both be operational and salespeople. It's how it works with us. Was that an answer that you were looking for?
Terrific, thanks. Then Jacob, we have one down here, about 4 rows forward. If you... Oh, you went the wrong side, but no worries.
Sorry. Put your hand back up? Oh no.
Have you got an online question to ask on the way by?
I do indeed.
Okay, we'll fire up there.
So
and then
I'm a bit
here.
of an underrepresented woman in our media localization. I reckon it'll be fairly tough. So how can we convince men that we are serious and pro?
How can I convince men?
Yeah, how can we convince men that we are serious and that we're pros?
It's a bit like take it or leave it. If they don't like you, then... But that's because I'm not in the weakest of positions. I already have some revenue. We already have some good relations. And if they are dissing me, then it's, bye-bye. And I'm used to that from, the martial arts and all of that. So it's not new to me. And I'm not that afraid of being unpopular either, or whatever. It's funny, though. Sometimes they really come around after being told off.
Perfect. Next question here.
Hi. I'm just asking, so developing a new business, how do you know what team members you need, and how do you source them, especially when developing a brand new business and you haven't even got your first client?
So I started by training my own people. Now, that's not good enough when we come to the next level. Then I need people who know more than me. So then I have to hire. And because I'm not new to the market or the industry, I've known it for a while, and I know people, and so I look for them in my own network, on LinkedIn, and through connections. So, and I will know what functions we will need to fill because I know the industry.
How do you know the team members that you're choosing? Like, what's your criteria so that you know you can trust them and they know that you'll stay with the development?
Yeah. You know, to trust people is something that you grow into. And if they're brand new, they come from nowhere, you maybe don't start putting them in the most sensitive position, you know, not in charge of all of your money or all of your clients or all of that. So as you get to know them, they can sort of go through the filters. But most of them, they come with, you know, a good reputation, and they are recognized, and they, you know, we know them. They've been involved with that company, or they've been doing this and that. And then on a lower level, we have tests and metrics, you know, for how they perform. And I'd say, you know, almost everyone are nice and honest people, and they do, you know, contribute well. But that's also because of our company profile. Because when we create value for stakeholders, that's what we do. We are thinking of our people as well. We don't want to, you know, just grab it and run. There is a fairness kind of policy in our business profile. And that's, again, you know, if the investors can't handle that, you know, we can do it another way. So just having that, again, back to, you know, if that one isn't good enough for you, you can find another one. And, well, we were lucky. We didn't have to look too long or too far. And it's not easy for everyone. I know it's not an easy thing. I know it's really many hurdles and very different. So I don't want to be, you know, flippant about it. But we had a different position because we're already trading. We had money. We could do it another way, which made my position stronger.
Thank you. We got a question here and then one over here.
Thank you very much. That was a really great presentation. I just wanted to ask you, if you had the time over, is there anything that you would do slightly differently now or totally differently?
Yeah, there I would go more in a straight line instead of... Yeah.
Next time.
Yeah, well...
Excellent.
Next time will be something different, so it's probably going to be like that.
Jacob, you've got some more online?
No.
Oh, yep.
Hello, thank you very much for your presentation. My name's Caroline. I'm just asking about your investment journey as well. I thought it was a really interesting phrase that you showed your deck to your friend who looked at it, and it was only when he looked at it.
I think you need to speak slower to me.
Sorry, people always say that to me, actually. When you showed your deck to the person who eventually invested in your business, it wasn't necessarily as a potential investor. It was to help you deal with a difficult situation.
That's how it started.
Yeah. And I just thought it was interesting that it was only when looking at it in detail that he became excited.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that I tend to have a thing of people tend not to look at the deck because of the product or where it's come from or who has presented it. And I just wonder if sometimes the audience that I'm going to is a particular audience. And I just wondered if you were involved in any kind of way of making the audience different, so changing who investors are.
Well, no, not really, unfortunately. But I do think that, you know, things like this can help open little gates or little gaps or wedge into where people start, you know, looking. Because I think the moment they, you know, the narrative is there that there is money in it, it makes it more interesting. Because if there is the bias that they think, oh, it's just a little bit of this and that, we want the big, or we want this or that. So that might take some time, and it will take some change. But and I don't have that shortcut, unfortunately, unless when enough of us are investors, of course, we will look closer at our sisters' projects.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We've got another question at the back, just by the pillar there. And that'll probably be the last one.
Hi, I was really keen to understand. You said that you got funding and then you hired from different acquisitions that then you could sort of, as markets merge, you could sort of pull talent. How do you balance paying market rates for top talent versus growing your business and reinvesting in your business?
Well, that's why we needed investment to pay the market rates.
Right.
And
so you just went for paying the flat out top market rate.
Exactly. But it's the same investors that are going with us for the next rounds,
Okay.
which is also lucky because we don't have to pitch again and again and again. Very lucky, I'd say, because I have raised money before and it's not been like this.
Perfect. Thanks.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much, Bente. I think you'll like this because not only because I wrote it and it's a great book, but there's a methodology in there called fund, acquire, consolidate, and exit. So it fits with what you're doing.
Yeah.
So perfect. Thank you very much. Okay.